The boxing world sets its sights on America on August 3rd, as Riyadh season stages its first ever US show, and arguably one of the cards of the year with all the promoters working together. Headlining this historic night though will be pound for pound king Terence Crawford taking on the Uzbek dream Israil Madrimov. Crawford is moving up in weight after becoming an undisputed champion for the second time at £147 and is now chasing a prestigious title for being a 4-weight world champion to further add to his legacy. For Madrimov, the once highly rated amateur, turned pro with high expectations in 2018. However, he has not reached the heights as fast as some predicted, but after winning his first world title this year in his 11th pro fight, he now faces the ultimate test in a battle against the pound for pound king. In today's breakdown, I want to dive deeper into the potential tactics of both men and what will be required from them come fight night. Will Crawford deliver another masterclass, or will Madrimov fulfill his prestigious potential and pull off a shocking upset? So on that note, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the challenger, Bud Crawford. After outboxing and pretty much destroying Errol Spence Jr. in his last fight just under a year ago, Crawford is very much the favourite going into this fight. And although you could consider Crawford coming to the tail end of his career, he has certainly lived the life of a champion outside of the ring, and has never truly been in an all-out war where you might start to question his durability like has happened to so many fighters in the past. Nevertheless, the fight activity is a concern, as Crawford's only fought once a year since 2020. And the potential for ring rust can't be entirely ignored. Experience-wise, Crawford is undoubtedly at the peak of his powers. His ring IQ, technical mastery are undeniable. But will that be enough against a young, hungry and versatile fighter like Madrimov? The clash of styles promises, in my opinion, to be fireworks, and Crawford will need to be at his absolute best to overcome this challenge. But let's dive deeper into the specific areas of where Crawford will need to excel to maintain his dominance. First things first, establishing the control of the ring will be paramount for Crawford. Madrimov thrives on pushing his opponents back right from the start of the fight, as he's been coming out in an orthodox stance. So for me, Crawford coming out in a southpaw stance, making an open stance battle could be a masterstroke, as this might disrupt Madrimov's use of angles as well, while at the same time allowing Bud to manage the distance with his textbook movement, as he likes to circle around the ring, never staying in the same position for too long.
It's very rare. He has equal skills from both stances and equal power. You don't have to prepare for one style, you have to prepare for multiple styles when you face Terence Bud Crawford.
But it is an interesting dynamic. Madrimov does switch stances himself as well, but as I mentioned, he has been a bit more disciplined in more recent fights, while being more rigid in that orthodox stance, looking to establish his jab first. And this adds another layer of intrigue. Will Crawford stick with a southpaw stance to start, or will he adjust early in the fight or even mid-fight to keep Madrimov guessing? And Crawford's constant movement I think will also be key in his arsenal here, as it serves a dual purpose, as like he's done with most, disrupts the opponent's rhythm, and controlling that range with his probing jabs will definitely help. Look out for Crawford targeting Madrimov's high guard, forcing him to commit and blocking while opening up windows for Crawford to land follow-up sneaky counter hooks or straights in between Madrimov's punches.
Another left hand. Taking it up the gears.
Counterpunching for me is where Crawford's experience shines. As I said before, Madrimov in his last few fights starts by trying to establish his jab, mainly by throwing body jabs, which could play right into Crawford's trap in my opinion, as this is exactly what Bud will probably want him to do, to overcommit with these, as he does leave himself open even when throwing these jabs at times. And for me, I feel these predictable jabs could be the trigger for the perfectly timed counters for him, as we've seen him use against the likes of Errol Spence Jr. and many other fighters before him.
Wanted to, try to catch him.
The scouting report on Amir Khan was that he couldn't take a shot. Crawford kept his composure this whole round. He's calculating the speed, the distance.
Trainers want guys composed, collected, and sticking to the...
Slick movement there.
Well, he has to with a guy that can hit. It has timing.
While we also can't ignore Madrimov's lunging power punches, that adds another vulnerability to him. While these pack a punch, literally, they leave him wide open. And for me, I feel Bud is going to exploit these openings with surgical precision at some point, especially as Crawford uses his probing jab and movement to frustrate Madrimov. And for me, it's more about the right timing and waiting for the right moment to strike.
But you know that he doesn't talk a lot of trash.
What a great counterpunch.
I thought that was just a little cuffing shot, but the second one, that's a real, there's going to be a real punch. You saw it.
Showed. There the body punches. 28. There is the knockdown scored in round 10 by the champ.
Madrimov's explosive, aggressive fighting style can be a double-edged sword at times. His fast starts and flashy movements can drain his gas tank early, and this might just lead to carelessness later in the fight, as Madrimov loves to throw wide looping shots and really does become defensively vulnerable. I truly believe if Crawford is able to take him into the later rounds when there is a bit of fatigue in him, he's going to find those openings to break him down.
Walker stepping back right on time and catching Madrimov coming in with his head down.
Add up in 4, but you're right, I'll take that one, that's my fault. Nice shot landed there for Walker. And it's interesting, sometimes when Madrimov swings and misses, Sergio, he stumbles a couple feet forward. That's how hard he's throwing these punches.
Just a couple inches to get... Look at how deep his breathing, Todd. Madrimov is tired and Walker's digging.
We've seen it so many times in the past when his opponents start to get tired and get caught with shots. Crawford just simply breaks them down. And with Madrimov never fighting against an opponent of this experience, I can really see him get punished with those defensive lapses and the huge gaps he leaves in his guard time and again. The one intriguing question remains for me though about Crawford. Will his power translate effectively at 154 pounds? So far, Madrimov is proven to have a solid chin, and the question begs if his punches will have the same deterrent effect we've seen in the lower weight classes. But this adds another league of intrigue in this matchup, if Crawford instead will take a more cautious approach trying to outbox him for 12 rounds, or if he will try and go for the finish at some point, as Madrimov will leave openings for him. For the defending champion, Madrimov is very much considered the underdog for most, and while the Uzbek possesses undeniable power and a relentless style, he will need to execute a near perfect game plan to secure victory in my opinion. Uzbek Dream has shown flashes of brilliance in the past, particularly in his most recent performance versus Kurbanov, and I think this showed a level of maturity for him to be patient and try and set up the openings over the rounds. But as much as I think that was a good approach for that fight, I really think he needs to bring out the more unorthodox parts of his style if he wants to get the upset over Crawford. But let's look at the areas that will be required from him come fight night. Madrimov's aggressive style is his calling card, and he'll need to unleash it from the opening bell. Known for his high pressure approach, I really feel Israil must look to overwhelm Crawford and dictate the pace of the fight early. Crawford's tendency to start slow could play into his hands, and as cliche as saying he needs a strong start, it will be required. Crawford is well known to start slowly, as he basically tries to figure out your timing and rhythm, and I think keeping Crawford on the back foot and limiting his ability to dictate the pace and range will be crucial for Israil to get his respect, while past opponents have been able to land significant combinations in these early rounds as well.
You can get closer to him. Terence Crawford ducked him. I don't find any evidence of that. But in boxing, we imagine
It's a moment to kind of wrap your brain around that and make...
Oh, Kabayaskis comes forward, and Bud Crawford was hurt.
While Bud also does fight back in these scenarios at times, opening himself up, which leads to him getting caught, although he will more than likely land something significant of his own. So with that being said, Madrimov must balance his offense output with defensive awareness. If he can effectively pressure Crawford early without exposing himself to too many counterattacks, he might just be able to land something of significance early on.
Oh, got him again.
Now, although Madrimov's body punching has been a valuable tool in his arsenal, he does mainly use this to try and set up his overhand rights or even his leaping gazelle hooks later down the line. And while this is effective, his reliance on the body jab has just become a bit too predictable in my opinion, and for that very reason I think he really needs to maximise the variety of his body work, and I think incorporating more straights to the bodies, hooks, uppercuts and even shorter combinations, Madrimov might be able to catch Crawford off guard. Additionally, the feinting to the body before the attack to the head can create those openings for powerful shots, as I truly believe this is why Madrimov overinvests in this area so he can set up those shots up top as I mentioned.
But when it comes to veterans like Gonzalez, it's a
puzzle for Madrimov to figure out. I remember when I said, Sergio, you think he can take him deep, and maybe even you would think if it's not 4-4, it's got to be 5-3.
And at times, Bud has shown vulnerability to sudden explosive attacks, which arguably is what Madrimov is best at doing. However, for this fight, with some of the timing and ring IQ of Crawford, he needs to be spot on with this, otherwise he's going to get caught coming in. At this point, Crawford has pretty much seen it all, and the only way I can see Israil causing problems or even beating Bud is to show him something different to all of Bud's previous opponents, while making him uncomfortable early. While he has shown a more disciplined approach in recent fights, I think he has to revert to his more aggressive, unpredictable roots again. Crawford is a master at reading his opponents, and many fighters always fall victim to his counterpunching prowess eventually. Israil is shown excellent use of changing angles and also switching stances while using unpredictable out-of-rhythm footwork.
Repertoire changes back to orthodox again, fires out and back and forth. This is what I expected to see.
Help make the trains run on time, so to speak, in training camp.
Or go to DAZN.com, right, fighting for only the third time as a pro. First priority for him against are going to do absolutely no damage. Boy, this wild style is working.
Ooh, big swing and a miss in there too. He's got wide shoulders, long arms.
With that left hook to the body.
Cutting a nice angle there. Ooh.
Oh, overhand ended moments ago. Igbagwe trying to fight back.
Ooh, nice angle there from Madrimov.
While also throwing explosive combinations out of nowhere.
Oh, good hard body shot, and down goes Navarro.
Fight by Ivan Baranchik. That would be difficult.
Good hook, and down he goes!
Across his forehead.
Fantastic shot.
And look at
And for me, Madrimov possesses the raw power to hurt anyone if he lands cleanly, and he must use this to his advantage at some point, and unleashing those powerful leaping gazelle hooks as he feints to go to the body could just be the money punch for him to land on Crawford eventually.
There it is.
Good eye, Tim.
But it's coming.
Might just be able to really unsettle Crawford from his game. Not to mention, Israil is the younger, stronger, naturally bigger guy than Crawford. And personally, the more variety he shows, the best chance he has of winning this fight. Overall, I do think this is a really intriguing matchup. Crawford has incredible adaptability, ring intelligence, counterpunching skill set to really cause problems for any opponent or any style. Israil Madrimov does have the relentless pressure, power and unorthodox offense at times to cause some real problems. But for this fight, I feel Bud just needs to really maintain his distance and work out the timing of Madrimov, and he'll certainly at some point be able to catch him in between his punches as he lunges in, while Madrimov must apply that constant pressure to make Crawford uncomfortable, while also using the unorthodox elements of his style to keep Crawford guessing and to get him into a fight he doesn't want to get into. Personally, I think this could be a good clash of styles, particularly if Madrimov decides to come forward in this fight, while Crawford will be wanting to become a 4-weight world champion. And even though I edge Crawford going to this fight, I do see Israil making this a very tough challenge. This has been Jamie from Boxing Life. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight. Do you think Crawford's experience will be too much? Or do you think the Uzbek dream can shock the world and beat the pound for pound star? This has been Jamie from Boxing Life. If you want more like this, why not check out my Madrimov breakdown or my How Champions Train series episode on Bud Crawford. Enjoy the fight when it comes, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.